Hello and welcome to the New Year's Eve episode. This is 2025. I am Andrew Ledford, and I do these traditionally on New Year's Eve, recapping some of what I've done over the past year, what I plan on doing in the future. I always enjoy going back and looking and seeing what I was talking about, thinking a year ago. And this year, I have a couple new projects in the works, actually, several, but they all lead to one mission, one purpose. The first one is I'm starting a podcast finally. I set it up last year, but I never did it. So this year I have the first one. I think I'm going to either publish it today, New Year's Eve, or tomorrow, New Year's. So that will be interesting. As I say, it's always easy to start and hard to continue. So we will see how that goes. The other bit of news is I plan on starting to do the It's Coffee Time with Andrew once again. As you may have seen in some of my other videos, I was planning on doing a different show walking around a historic park, but they kind of kicked me out and told me not to do video there, which is not an uncommon thing. This has been going on since the 80s. I've been getting kicked out of places for having a video camera. Even though it was just a little GoPro, they still did not want me doing video. So, just one of those things you have to live with when you are doing media. But I do enjoy going back sometimes and looking at old episodes. And I've decided it's more like a video diary for me. And it just gives me insight into what I had been doing when I read books, certain books. And that kind of influences how I think. So I am going to start doing that again. It's Coffee Time with Andrew. I ended on episode 100. So the first renewal of It's Coffee Time will be episode 101. And I think I may even do that as a short podcast as well. They're usually someplace between 8 and 15 minutes. So not real long, but I decided since I find them informative for myself, even if I'm just doing it for myself and nobody even watches it, that's fine. But the biggest, the tallest, the most ambitious project for next year will probably be my behavioral framework, which is canine method. And so far, nobody seems to be interested. So it may just be one of those big experiments that ends up being nothing. But I certainly hope that it will be something. And I'm going to be working towards that. And what is it? The C stands for change strategy. And then the A stands for acceptance and adaptability. And then N, that would be nonverbal influence. The I, instructional design. The next N is for, so we have nonverbal influence, narrative learning, which is very important, part of our episodic memory. And then the last part, the E, that is for emotional homeostasis, because to operate at an optimal level, we have to stay within a certain degree, a certain variation of emotional balance. And this is something I plan on teaching. The first program I would like to teach, if there's enough people interested, would be how to get over the fear of public speaking. And now, you'd think there'd be a lot of people interested in this, since probably at least 20% of the population is quite fearful of getting up and speaking in front of a group. And I plan on doing this with animal assisted emotional regulation, which means they're going to have a dog. So about half the people have a dog. So it should be every 10 people I talk to, there should be one who could use this. And so far, I've found a lot of people really interested. Oh, that's cool. And very interested in hearing about it and theory behind it and what it will involve. But so far, nobody has wanted to step up to the plate and engage and actually commit to going through the program. So it's going to be a matter of finding the ideal target market, I think, at least in the beginning. Once it's proven, I think there's lots of really interesting things that we can do with case studies. But in the beginning, it's just going to be finding somebody brave enough to actually do it. It's a little bit different, but from drawing from a lot of different fields, different domains, as well as my own experience, I think it's going to work great. I've done animal assisted therapy on psychiatric wards. I've done animal assisted therapy for stroke recovery. I've done service dogs for people in wheelchairs. I've done a lot of interesting types of animal assisted programs that have really helped people. So I think that this could also be one of those. So this is one of the big projects. And then last year, read several books that have kind of changed how I think about things, and most of them probably just reinforced ideas I had the previous year. They were basically to expound on ideas that I was working on a year ago. So now I'm a little bit clearer, can use that information a little bit more effectively. And then I may add to this a bit later, but right at the moment, I think that I'm pretty much done expounding upon the plans for next year, and didn't go over too much of what happened last year. Probably one of the biggest things, I was thinking I'm going to have to get a new car, but then had some work done on my old car, and you know what? It's running better than it has in 10 years. So I figured, hey, I'm just going to hold off getting another car for who knows how long. As long as this one keeps running so good, yeah, I'll keep it. So that was one of the goals that I didn't get accomplished because it changed. So didn't need to accomplish that goal, basically. It became obsolete. And sometimes our goals are that way. We think we want something, but we find a substitute. And this is something that we can learn about by studying Michael Porter's strategies, and something that we often need to take into consideration if we're running a business. Okay. If I don't come back and add to this, as always, I am wishing you a wonderful day, a happy new year, happy and prosperous new year. As always, like I say, I'm wishing you the best. Have a wonderful year. Bye-bye.